stage, Mike Zakarian.
Good morning. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the NBA Bit. You're probably tired of seeing me at this point. Yesterday was cinema, was a vibe. We had a busy one yesterday, right? We had the NBA Bit. We went live after the Jaren Jackson Jr. trade. We went live after the Simons and Vucci trade. Would have gone live after Harden and Garland. Although I do think you guys all know how I feel about it. But we were hosting trivia, so the voice is shot. But we're back. We're back. We're going to talk about everything that went down yesterday, last night's action, tonight's action, all the fun stuff. Who do we got in the chat though this morning? Huh? Who's up in here? We got Patty Coyne. Yeah, Cavs and Clips play tonight. I don't think we'll be seeing any of those guys, though. They got moved around. Bloodbath last night in the prop streets. Yeah. Hey, first of all, shout out to our guy, Roto Run, huh? John from the Badge Bros takes down not his first, but his second seat to the Dog Bowl, huh? We were all over it last night. But we did not get it done. DJP, yeah, seriously. Stubbs is here. Good morning, Stubbs. Milo in the chat. Oh, my God, the Chicago Bulls. Taylor's up in here. We got Common Man. And we got James. In the chat. Washington Post closing a sports section. Yeah, I thought I saw that get leaked last week. But yeah, I mean, like, listen, let's start with the one that we didn't talk about yet. Or we kind of talked about it, but it wasn't official when we did, and it was James Harden. James Harden to the Cavaliers for Darius Garland. And we had a second-round pick, I think, right? My favorite thing, like with the fallout, like some of the new stuff, the new information that we have since this trade went down last night around, what was it, like 9 p.m., 8:30 p.m. Eastern? Two things. One, what I've learned, if you need to do a little PR before something goes down or after something goes down, talk to Ramona Shelburne. Ramona Shelburne is the person you need to talk to, right? Steve Ballmer cried his crocodile tears on ESPN with Shelburne right after all the aspiration stuff broke. We got, who else? With James Harden last night was like, I never wanted to trade. It was actually pretty emotional for me. There was another time. Oh yeah, also when the Clippers ownership, this stuff went down, right? When she spoke to the Donald Sterling's wife, and that was kind of, and then they made a TV show together. I learned that, and then KOC is gonna source some stuff and make you feel like shit after. Reports from KOC said sources within the organization have said they believe that Garland's injury, that he wasn't doing all that he could to come back. Okay, cool, bro, cool. Let's do this. Let's get this out of the way. I think I'm just going to be on this island that I think this is a dumbass trade. I think for both organizations, I think it's dumb. I understand the Cleveland side of like maybe the frustration of being like, hey, you know, the way it's being spun this morning was we need to do everything we can to make sure that Donovan Mitchell stays a Cavalier for life. And listen, that's true. I mean, you do need to make moves for Donovan. And maybe this is Donovan pulling his LeBron James. Go give up a first for Kyle Korver, right? That type of energy. Maybe that's what Donovan's doing. And maybe he's saying we need James Harden. That's the only way I will be happy in Cleveland long term. The only way I will stay a Cavalier is if you go get James Harden right now. And if that's what's going on behind the scenes, then, I mean, you live with it. There's nothing you can do. I just refuse to believe that in 2026, serious basketball teams are putting their playoff faith in James Harden. We have seen it so many times. We've seen it in Houston. We've seen it in Brooklyn. We saw it in Philly. And you can, like the box score bros, you get, but James Harden, though, man, can you believe it, dude? Year 13, and he's still out there. He's actually a facilitator now. So, like, it's not even Harden ball anymore. He's not even the system. And again, if you need a nice fantasy score on like a early March night, yeah, plug in James Harden, you know? If you need a regular season W, oh, yeah, sure. Hey, I'll even say this. You need a game 2 win in a first-round playoff series. Hashtag Harden. Show me, like, there's so much pressure on Cleveland to get out of the Eastern Conference. The East right now is Detroit, who just continues to win games. It's the Celtics, who are just like, man, we got Nikola Vucevic, baby. Wheels up. You got the Knicks, right? Nobody's good. Everybody's fine. Nobody's good. That's not true. The Pistons are on the pace to win like 62 games. The Pistons are good. But Cleveland, before this season, they've spent all their money. It's time to go. You got to do it now. You got to do it now. And I'm telling you right now, there's going to be some point, whether it's the first round against the Charlotte Hornets or the second round against one of these top 4 teams, whether it's the Knicks, whether it's the Celtics. I hope it's the Celtics just because they, on paper, should absolutely destroy that Boston team, right? But if you put that all together and we get to a game 5, hashtag pivotal game 5, and it's like a 2-2 series, all of Cleveland's hopes, dreams, and future is going to be like, man, I hope our 2 best players, 2 guys who famously can't get out of the second round, show up when the lights are bright. That's not even including Jared Allen, who legit has a meme of him saying the lights got too bright. And this will never be Jared Allen's fault. But, like, I just can't imagine being the owner of the Cavs, the front office member of the Cavs, even a teammate. Can you imagine just being like, man, finally, we got James Harden. The path to the promised land. Now, narratively speaking, this would be beautiful. It's like you multiply 2 negatives and you get a positive. You take Donovan Mitchell's playoff wins and you take James Harden's playoff wins, and then you multiply those together. Maybe that equals an NBA championship. And I will happily eat all my words. But, man, if they don't go to the finals, and they would not be my pick to get out of the East, no way. You think James Harden, put a Sar Thompson on James Harden for a little bit, how's he going to deal with that? You know? I don't know. They're not my pick. Honestly, I would have them out in the second round. Out in the second round for me. That's where I land on it. But I feel like I'm in the minority. It seems like there's a lot of people, both very smart people, Twitter people, chat. I think most, even Cavs fans. Like, I know James was in the chat. He said it. Stubbs, I don't know how Stubbs feels. But it seems like, I think maybe if you just water this down and you're like, hey, listen, man, Darius Garland can't stay on the court. Maybe they have a better understanding of his medicals. And they're like, his feet, they're never going to work again. And if that's the case, and you're like, whatever, dude, this is our only shot, right? Because financially they were in a tough spot. I was listening to Brian Windhorst break this down a little bit, where there was only like a handful of guards because of the apron situation that they could go after. And it was like James Harden, whatever. And maybe they're like, Garland's never going to do it. He's not going to he doesn't want to be here. Spida doesn't want him here, which that has to be part of it, right? Because this doesn't happen without Donovan Mitchell being like, this is what I want. So maybe this just reeks to me as desperation, That's what it feels like to me. But on the Clippers side of stuff, I mean, whatever, dude. I don't know. Like I said yesterday, it just feels like it was dumps being traded for dumps. That's what it feels like to me. Dumps for dumps. But yeah, Taylor's saying he thinks the Cavs got better, but they still aren't an actual threat. Yeah, maybe that's true. I think I'd rather have Garland, and that's just because, like, maybe they're choosing the devil you know versus the devil you don't, or maybe they know both of these devils. But I just think it's hilarious, man. It's 2026. We've seen him do this in different decades. Like, we've just yet to see it happen. And they were like, hey, this is our last chance. Good God, is that James Harden music? And what's funny about this is, like, I'm going to look like an idiot until we get to the playoffs. I will, because Cleveland's schedule is about to get as soft, just as, an insert penis joke. It's going to be real soft. I'm going to go to Tankathon here, and we can go look at the strength of schedule stuff here for Cleveland. But I think they've already been 8-2 in their last 10. They've just been ripping off W's left and right. And when you compare everything to some of the teams ahead of them, they've got like the easier schedule. So again, I'll egg on my face, but come talk to me in April and May. Probably not May. Do they get to May? So this is the schedule left. OKC and Denver, both brutal schedules. The Chicago Bulls, we'll talk about them, but the tank is on. But see, you got the Knicks up here in the seventh hardest schedule, the Celtics with the fifth hardest schedule. These are all teams ahead of Cleveland right now. Toronto with the 13th right in the mid, but Cleveland all the way down here. You scroll all the way down. They have the 28th softest schedule the rest of the way. So Cleveland's going to go out there and just win a ton of games. They're just going to win a ton of games. And I'm happy for them. Everybody's going to be like, see, dude? See, you dumbass. They got rid of Garland. They added James Harden. And now all of a sudden they're the 2 seed in the Eastern Conference. And I'm telling you right now, would have happened regardless. But come talk to me in the postseason. And I'll eat crow. I will. It's fine. Borland, no, James Harden won't play tonight. The Cavs and the Clippers, that's actually like the funniest thing. Cavs and Clips play tonight. Basically anybody that was traded in the last 24 hours, they won't be playing basketball. Tonight. So they'll be a little thin. I mean, Garland wasn't already playing, so the Cavs will have like their normal roster. The Clips will just be without Harden, which we've seen for the last 2 games. So a little bit more Jordan Miller. But I guess maybe we'll see both of those guys in street clothes. I don't know. They probably still have to pass medicals and all that stuff. Like I know some of those trades aren't official yet. Let's pop over to. So clearly, I feel if we're doing like winners and losers, I feel both of these teams lost the trade. That's how I feel. The Utah one, quickly, we'll do Utah and Memphis. My favorite thing right now is, dude, Memphis has like nobody to play basketball tonight. Memphis traded Jaren Jackson Jr., Jock Landale, Johnny Concha, Vince Williams Jr., right? So for tonight, they have Ty Jerome, who's only playing 20 minutes, and then it's going to be like, they got Santi Aldama, who's missed 5 straight games. If Santi's not back, God, just fire up the G.G. Jackson props. Vince Williams was playing like 25 minutes a game. Conchar was playing 25 minutes a game. Jacques was playing 30 minutes a game. You just take and then Jaren 30 minutes a game. You take all of those guys out of the rotation. I don't think Kyle Anderson, Walter Clayton, or Taylor Hendricks are going to be ready to go. Let me actually see if they are, because I don't think they'd be ready to go tonight, right? No, because I don't think it's official yet. So yeah, man, Memphis has nobody. I said this yesterday. I love this for Utah, and Utah. Also, if you were tuning in, man, listen, I didn't win any money last night, but home run call. Everybody saw Yusuf Nurkic was ruled out to begin the night. Then he gets ruled in, and everybody's like, whoa, Yusuf Nurkic, they only have 8 guys. He's going to play a ton of minutes. And what they did instead was they only played 7 guys. Yusuf Nurkic was out there, but didn't play any basketball. Isaiah Collier, 22 assists when he played all 48 minutes. It was crazy business. But Utah in this great spot now, where they're going to play, like if you have Jaren Jackson Jr., Lowry Markkanen, or Keontae George in best ball, enjoy like the next 7 games, because I don't think they're going to play ever again after that. The flu is going to be going around Utah for the next 2 months, because they're going to do everything they can to make sure they maintain their pick, right? Because if they fall out of the top 8 picks in the lottery, that pick goes to OKC. They lose it. So they are going to be in the bottom 8, because then their 2027, I believe, unprotected goes to Memphis. Memphis will get that pick along with like a Lakers pick and then the worst pick of another 3. They got 3 first-round picks out of it, along with the guys that we mentioned. But Utah now, if they're able to secure a top 8 pick, they're going to run back. Maybe they keep Walker Kessler. Maybe they don't. A little bit more expendable now, getting Jaren Jackson Jr., although we know how we feel about Jaren Jackson Jr. as a 5. But they have Walker Kessler, potentially, Jaren Jackson Jr., Lowry Markkanen, and Keontae George, and then a second-year Ace Bailey, who has been coming on strong a little bit lately, along with whatever this lottery pick is going to look like. So I love what Utah's doing. If you're a Utah fan, it's like, finally, we're going to start trying next year, not this year. You're definitely not going to be trying this year. So that's good for them. And then Memphis, man. Memphis got picks for days. picks for days. I also think it makes it a lot easier to just kind of sell light on Ja Morant if they decide. If they decide to just like give up on Ja and maybe it's just like second round picks or whatever. Like, I don't know what the price tag is going to be on Ja, but to get off of both the Ja money and assuming the Ja, I said a little because we're talking about Ja, assuming they get off the Ja Morant money, they get off the Jaren Jackson Jr. money, and they get to just start over, just reset the vibes, you know? Maybe they get a new owner too soon, right? Right? I hope our guy Joker Rock's doing okay, though. I know that's some tough stuff for Memphis. But they get to start over. They have like 7 picks, I think. It would have been 8, but they already used one, right? Between Desmond Bane, Mr. T-Rex, they get the 4 picks from Orlando, which actually is looking great because Orlando seems to be as mid as it gets right now. And then you have the picks from Utah, which, you know, I do think Utah is going to be better, but they're still in the Western Conference, so that still should be like a borderline lottery. Like, what's Utah's ceiling next season? Like a 7 seed, 8 seed? So anyways, that's pretty fun. So those are like the highlights yesterday. And then we also had some other stuff, like Anthony Simons, who was doing a great job for the Celtics offensively off the bench, but clearly was not going to be able to spend they weren't going to be able to back up the truck for him in the offseason. They go move him to Chicago. Chicago thought it was important to get 45 guards, which they have right now. Although, shout out Chicago. They waited 5 extra years, but they're finally tanking. So Vooch goes to Boston, and I'm fascinated. We talked about it yesterday, but fascinated to see how the Celtics handle this. They've already decided that Peyton Pritchard is going to go from the starting lineup to the bench. Last night, they beat the Mavs. We'll talk about that a little bit. But he played 35 minutes off the bench. I hope they move Vooch and keep Vooch off the bench, too. Like, I like that idea of Vooch and Peyton Pritchard running the second unit offensively. I think it's like a good, you know, I don't think it's all of a sudden, you know, Eastern Conference favorites or anything like that, but that was definitely a hole that they had. It's less Luka Garza, it's less Amari Williams, and now you get a little bit more offense, a little less well, not less defense than Luka Garza, but yeah, Magikarp. Yeah, we were talking about that. Absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. I'm all set with the Garland stuff. I am. But anyway, I think it's a good move for Boston. I think it helps them financially. They could move 1 or 2 more pieces here to get completely out of financial hell. It is crazy, though, to think. I saw Bobby Mark share this in June. Their roster was like over $500 million, and now they're basically $200 million. It's crazy how much they've like lopped off. So good job for Boston there. I'll be curious to see if they do anything else. And then Chicago, yeah, you finally start tanking. Chicago's got crazy guards right now. Mike Conley, he won't be there long. They got Jaden Ivey from Detroit, which is kind of fun. They got Jaden Ivey. They have now Anthony Simons. They still have Kobe White, Josh Giddey, Trey Jones. Hi-yo! And now it's like, what does Chicago do next, right? You've got basically like 30 hours left to make some moves, and it sounds like more guards than the Bears. Nice, Milo. Dude, that's a cross-sport reference, all right? You guys could learn a little something for what Milo's doing in there, and that's what Chicago fans have. They got time for creativity because they don't have time for basketball W's. But I do think it sounds like Kobe White might be on his way to Houston. And that would be, I like that. I'm a Kobe White fan. Would like to see him go play. I mean, in Houston is just so desperate for guards. And it sounds like the initial move is going to be like Dorian Finney-Smith and maybe some picks or something like that. And Chicago is countering for like Tari Eason or Jabari Smith Jr. I don't know if if it's Tyree Eason who's about to be a free agent. I mean, okay, I would do that because I don't know if Houston wants to pay Tyree Eason anyways. It's going to get a little expensive. So if you're able to do that for Kobe White, I think that's kind of fun. Matty Harrison said, I wonder if the Pistons were targeting Kobe White Io, but settled for Kevin Huerter. Yeah, that could be true. I think Kevin Huerter was a nice grab for them too. I thought Huerter was pretty good. To just get some more White shooting off the bench, so that way you always have one of those guys. You know, if it's not going to be Duncan Robinson, you have Kevin Huerter. It's always important to have a white guy that can't play a ton of defense but shoots the 3 ball, so that's great. And yeah, I like this move for Detroit a little bit more than shout out Monty Williams for absolutely destroying Jaden Ivey's value. But Dennis Jenkins has been too good for Detroit, and I think they were looking around like, let's go get some pieces that help us right now instead of the redundancy. I think Ivey didn't really take a step forward this year. That broken leg, obviously slowed him down. And I think that's good to take it for Chicago to take a shot on that. I think that's kind of fun. What else do we have? Let me catch up on the chat. Chicago's doing the point guards impossible challenge. Yeah, I think they are going to move off of them, and then some of those guards. And then as DJP was saying, I saw that Minnesota had a chance to get to White, but skipped for Giannis. Yeah, and I mean that is the notification we're waiting for, right? We're waiting to hear now. Is our guy Giannis Antetokounmpo making his way downtown to Minnesota? And it feels like the buzz is there. The buzz is there, and it seems like it's either going to be them or Miami if it happens, or maybe I guess Chicago. But my lean would be Minnesota. I don't know if it's going to happen though. What billionaire? What we're celebrating billionaires being cheap is wrong. I don't which one were we celebrating for being cheap? Which one? I forget. Which one are we celebrating? I missed it. Maybe I missed it. Mark on X is saying I need Portis tonight. Do you think he will play? Yeah, I mean, listen, we'll look at tonight's slate here in about 10 minutes or so, or 15 minutes. It's real guesswork, right? Bobby Portis didn't play last night for Milwaukee. I think he's going to have a Q tag all the way up until the deadline. We're talking about the Celtics. Yeah, but it's not celebrating billionaires being cheap. They weren't. This was going to impact them competing next year when Tatum comes back. I don't care if they lose a ton of money. I'm fine with them going into the tax. But if they did that multiple seasons in a row, that was going to be a problem. I'm not celebrating the billionaires. You be mad at CJ McCollum for the collective bargaining agreement that the Players Association settled on. But anyways, what else do we have? Where I got sidetracked. I see where you're saying now. No power duster. But yeah, I don't know if Bobby Portis is gonna go. I mean, this is gonna be this thing. Like Randall's got a Q tag tonight. Anthony Edwards has a Q tag tonight. We're gonna see anybody because CJ McCollum was in charge of the Players Association when that went down, along with Grant Williams. And they have 45 vice presidents, I think. But yeah, there's going to be a lot of Q tags the rest of the way. So anyways, we're waiting today. I think Houston has a shot at going at a guard. I think people are circling around Giannis, and then it feels like the Anthony Davis stuff is quieted down. I read Tom Habistro did a piece about Cleveland trying to get all of AD, Giannis, and James Harden. I mean, that seems insane to me, but I think we got to pay attention to the Anthony Davis stuff. I honestly think somebody like a DeJounte Murray with the Pelicans, somebody like, oh my God, why am I blanking on? Oh, Kyrie Irving too. Do those guys pick up any movement here? Coach Dreadhead in the chat said, do you think the Hornets will make a move even though they're playing well? I don't know. I mean, for vibes only, I'm a big fan of trading away domestic abusers. So I would like to see Miles Bridges get traded to Shanghai or something, go play overseas. I'd be done with the Miles Bridges thing. But the vibes are so good in Charlotte. I know they kind of gave you a Grant Williams showcase this week where he almost put up a double-double in their most recent W against the Pelicans. Colin Sexton seems pretty expendable, right? They have between LaMelo, Kahn, Brandon Miller, you've got Sexton, you got Trey Mann, who's kind of buried over there. But they have some Sexton makes sense to not be there, but I also think he's been kind of fun for them coming off the bench. But I would say it's Sexton, Grant Williams, somebody like that is most likely to be the one to go. Regulator in the chat saying maybe Trey Mann too. And I hope so. I mean, those guys are good enough to play. Would like to see them get a spot. And yeah, Gabriel in the chat saying they've been talking about Lonzo Ball having Sunday dinner with his family and maybe putting the balls together. Put your two balls together. Except for Lance Armstrong. What are we doing? But anyways, yeah, so that's on the table too. I don't know, anything else you guys have of trades we're waiting for? I think most of the stuff is just going to be moves around the edges. Draymond Green, I saw a great comment or a great article, blog post this morning from Good Morning It's Basketball, Tom Ziller. But he said he doesn't think the Warriors are serious about trading Draymond Green, because if they were, they wouldn't have played him last night because Draymond's ass with Steph Curry. And so I thought that was really funny. Taylor was saying, is LeBron gone? So there was There were some people on some like reporters on X last night being like, "I'm hearing word of a big trade nobody's talking about that's going to shock everyone." Um, I don't know if people are just trying to make like 18 bucks on X by getting some engagement. But the Lakers got a W last night against Brooklyn. There, it is pretty. Everybody's pretty confident that LeBron, whether he retires or plays for another team next year, won't be playing for the Lakers. I think that's right. But I would be surprised if the Lakers move off him. But I don't know. It's happening as Austin Reeves. He returned last night off the bench for them, his first game back after, I feel like he's been out for a long time. So I could see something like that. I could see something like that happening. I think we could pay attention to Portland, too. Portland has a lot of pieces that, they both make sense for them. It's some redundancy, right? We know Scoot Henderson is close to returning to the court, which is kind of fun for them. But I think they probably would have if they were going to make a big Scoot move, they probably would have needed him back like 2 weeks just to remind everybody that he can play basketball. Portland is an interesting team. Golden State, supposedly are still having like lots of meetings and putting feelers out there. I would be surprised if Golden State is still in the Giannis sweepstakes. I think they are way, way out there. LeBron just casually catching alley-oops off the backboard. Yeah, in his 40s. But I think we probably won't hear too much until the Giannis stuff drops, one way or the other. And I imagine if I'm the Bucks, even if you're not holding, even if your plan is not to move Giannis until the offseason, that you don't tell anybody that just in case somebody gives you an insane offer, right? Just in case you get that nutso offer. You guys want to poke around about last night's activities, and then we can maybe some more news breaks. And we can look at tonight's action as well, too. Let's start out with some, actually, before I even share screen. I know we already talked about it, but come on.
Detroit basketball! Detroit basketball! You better fly!
Yeah, we got to start with Detroit, man. We got to start with Detroit, okay? Because that was a good win for them. I mean, I know they're at home, so that helps, right? But 124-121 over Denver. Jamal and Jokic were hooping late to make a big surge, right? They outscored him by 10 in the fourth quarter. David Adelman, after the game, had some really funny comments where he did a good job. I like sometimes coaches, what's his name? Jason Kidd, he just got fined $35K for yelling. I like what Adelman's doing here because after the game, he's not going to get fined for this because he was like, yeah, I'm still just trying to figure it out. Like Cade Cunningham went to the line 11, 12 times. Jamal Murray went to the line 13 times, but Jokic only went to the line 3 times. So it kind of feels like, I got to figure out why our guards are getting there more than our bigs. And it's like, you can't find him for that. He's going Aaron Rodgers, just asking questions. But for Detroit, man, Jalen Duren, 19 and 13 here. Cade was great, 9 from 11. Never forget from the line. He had 29 and 10, 5 turnovers. Chill out. Sar Thompson with 10 and 6, but some solid defense. And then here we go, 6 for 9. Nice from Duncan Robinson from 3. He poured in 20, and then Karis LeVert returned, played 20 minutes. But this is a good W, man. 37 and 12. Detroit, just quietly ripping off W's each and every night, right? Detroit 3-0 versus Denver for first 2 without Jokic. But whatever. Dub's a dub, man. Dub's a dub. Good win for the Pistons. They continue to create some distance here. They got a 5.5 game lead over both the Bing Bong Boys of New York, who got a W last night, and the Celtics. We're not going to talk about this game long because who cares? Utah. But look at the minutes, bro. This is Will Hardy, the maestro, right? Lauri Markkanen plays, but only 27 minutes. He scored a minute per point, 27 points in 27 minutes. Kyle Filipowski, 16 and 16. He played 36. Cody Williams and Ace Bailey both played 40. And then Collier, all 48 minutes is crazy. And then the Pacers, the Pacers were like, hey, we need to lose this game. Siakam, Mathurin, Nesmith, Nembhard. Everybody's out. I've never heard of some of these guys. Cam Jones, who? Cam Jones, he played 36 minutes. Ethan Thompson, haven't seen him in a while. So, Talon Peter. You guys familiar with Talon Peter's game? He played 30 minutes as they get the W there. You heard Zobal is in talks with joining his brother in Charlotte. Yeah, we were talking about that a little while ago. The problem with that is, man, he has been so bad. He has been like Lonzo's been so bad this year. He just can't shoot anymore. It's crazy. The Lakers ran away with this. They outscored the Nets 45-23 in the first quarter, and just kind of went on cruise control after that. Luke only had to play 29 minutes. He had 24, 6, and 5. LeBron played 30. He had 25 and 7, dominating Sox. But Austin Reeves, 15 points in 21 minutes, also had 4 boards and a dime. That's a good sign. Curious to see how they bring Reeves along. Do they keep him off the bench? I don't think so. He probably comes back. Here. To the starting lineup soon. But again, Lakers watch. And then Brooklyn, whatever. Michael Porter Jr. had 21 points in 32 minutes. Brooklyn they stay losing. Let's do Celtics and Mavs here. So as I mentioned, Pritchard comes off the bench, but we're not starting with the Celtics. We're starting with Cooper Flag, dude. Cooper Flag is awesome. Just awesome. Get another lottery pick this year, Dallas. Trade AD and trade Kyrie, get some guys that make sense to build around. But this, he is now strung together. Cooper Flag, 36 points, 9 boards, and 6 dimes. Let me actually just Google this real quick. Let's see what our friends at StatMuse say. Cooper Flag, last 20 games. Let's do last 20. He's averaging 23 points, 7 boards, and 4 dimes in his last 20. I mean, this shit's real. This is great. Oh, yeah. Milo, go back to our show on Monday. Weisberg came on the last 10 minutes, and he just laid into him for a while. Who do you think? I think it's Cooper. I mean, listen, I know and that's not even to shit talk Con Knipple. Con Knipple's been awesome, but dude, Flag's just too good, man. Flag is too good. Cooper Flag's just out there hooping every single night, and Con's too good too, but I think it's Cooper. The stats are just crazy. The rest of this team sucks. It was funny to see Daniel Gafford against Boston. He had a double-double, 10 and 12. And I think Dallas probably went into this game being like, hey, let's play Daniel Gafford 28 minutes. Let's showcase this guy, and let's trade this guy to Boston. However, before the game, Boston had already got Vooch. So this was the wrinkle here for the starting 5. They added Baylor Shireman into the starting 5. He played 28 minutes with Pritchard coming off the bench, playing 35. I wonder when Tatum comes back, right? Do they go White, Brown, Tatum, Hauser, and Cada, and then have Pritchard and Vooch as their first 2 off the bench with sprinkling in Jordan Walsh and Ugo Gonzalez? I really am talking myself in to a little bit of a Celtics run here. I really am. Dreadhead was saying, what do you think about Mathurin to the Wolves for Dilly and a second-round pick? Is that enough to get the deal done? I actually think so, because I don't think the Pacers want to pay for Mathurin. I think they've kind of winked and nodded that they're okay if Mathurin leaves. I don't know if they want Dillingham, because he's been pretty bad and hasn't shown a lot of ceiling, but I think the Wolves are keeping Dillingham for the Giannis trade, but if that doesn't fall through, I like that. I like Mathurin. I like that a lot. That also helps the Pacers tank a little bit more. But anyways, I'm talking myself into the Celtics. I kind of like that's a solid. If that's their 5 with Vooch and Pritchard off the bench, and you've got Walsh and Ugo and Baylor as who are going to be your 8th and 9th guys, I really like that. I'm talking myself into that. Yeah, and yes, Cooper. I said, dude, listen. I saw Tatum and Cooper talking after the game. All right, I've already talked myself into it. I've already talked myself in to Cooper Flag in Boston in 6 years. The Bing Bong Boys. We don't have to talk about this a lot. They beat the piss out of the Wizards. Cat only played 26 minutes, which is a good sign because they played the Nuggets tonight. He had 19 and 15 in 26 minutes. Josh Hart left this game early. He got dinged up. He's questionable tonight. I don't know if they just didn't bring him back because they were cooking. They didn't need to, but something to monitor. And then Brunson continues to kind of underperform. He had 21 and 4 in 31 minutes. For Washington, everybody kind of, Alex Sarr 11 and 9 with a steal. You had Keyshawn George 8 and 2. Keyshawn's really cooled off lately, but just tough games for Washington. they're on to the tank. A-Town down, Atlanta. Atlanta spanked the Heat. So Miami, man, Spoelstra's crazy, baby. Spoelstra, he's built different. He's built different. So they ruled out Wiggins and Norm Powell, and I think, maybe some trades. And then they started Davion Mitchell, Pelly Larson, Myron Garden, Simone Fontecchio, and Scam Adebayo. Khalil Ware still only managed to play 18 minutes. Just, he's built different, man. Bam had 16 and 14 in the loss. No Porzingis, but it does sound like the Zanger's going to be back here soon. And then Jalen Johnson is just awesome. 29, 11, and 11. Just did a little bit of everything last night in 36 minutes. Nikhil Alexander at 19, 7, and 5. And then CJ had 26 and 4 off the bench. Atlanta 25 and 27. Miami 27 and 25. Miami's a team. I was winking and nodding while I was doing Stan. You knew we're on the same page there, right? But yeah, I don't know what Miami does. I think if they don't get Giannis, they don't really do anything unless it's just to get more assets for the offseason. Because I do think Miami's going to try to move and shake a little bit this offseason if something doesn't happen before the deadline. So, I don't know. But it was noteworthy that both Norm and Wiggins didn't go last night. Would be kind of wild if Norm made the All-Star team and then was traded before the All-Star game. That would be kind of crazy. Yeah, and if it's not going to be Giannis, they're talking about buying low on Ja Morant. I mean, listen, dude, if you want Ja Morant, you go get Ja Morant. If you need another guard that can't shoot the three. But you know what? If anybody can fix him, it's Miami, right? It's Miami. Let's talk about the Bucks and the Bulls just for a second. Look at this Bulls lineup, baby. Jalen Smith, 20 minutes. Only played 20 minutes, man. Damn it. I thought he was going to play a lot. Boozy played 36. Kobe White only played 30. They lost this game. They were fine losing this game, 131-115. For the Bucks, though, this is kind of interesting because the Bucks play again tonight. Amir Coffey started alongside AJ Green, Ryan Rollins, the Turner, and Kuz. Turner only played 23 minutes. That's kind of, I don't know. I don't know why that happened. I don't know why he only played 23 minutes, but I'm paying attention here. Rollins and Kuz seem to be the only safe guys. Kuz had 21, 10, and 7 in this one. No, I'm sorry. Rollins had 21, 10, and 7. Kuz had 31, 10, and 6. Pete Nance played 27 minutes. Whatever. Bucks got the W. We'll have to pay attention to see if they do anything tonight. Listen, this was if you guys watched the show yesterday, you could have made some money. Because the dumbest line of the night, Vegas with the dumbest line of the night. We all knew Joel Embiid wasn't playing, right? Joel Embiid, the Sixers played the night before, played the Warriors last night. They have tonight off, but then play again tomorrow. So 3 games in 4 nights. We know Embiid's not playing the back-to-back. I know Paul George was out. My only concern was that they were going to sit Maxey because somehow Embiid gets ruled out, right? When that happens, the line opened at Warriors -2.5. Embiid gets ruled out, but Maxey stayed in. We knew Maxey was playing. The line then went from 2.5 to 4.5. No Steph Curry. Look at this Warriors lineup that was favored by 4.5. Draymond Green, congrats, 6 and 7 in 25 minutes. Guy Santos, the corpse of Al Horford, Moses Moody, and the pod god Pajemski. That team was favored by 4.5. Sixers, it was a close game. The Sixers were up 3 at halftime. They held the Warriors to 16 points in the third quarter and 39 points in the second half. Barlow had 10 and 6. Drum Dog Millionaire had a double-double in 29 minutes. The Oobs had 15. Maxey 14 and 4. But it was VJ night. VJ played 40 minutes. And if you subscribe to Bagel with Locks, baby, if you subscribe to Bagel with Locks, which we got a new post here this morning, but we also said VJ Edgecombe was the Zag plan of the night. Which was exciting, except for the fact that all of those Bucks and Jazz value opened up. But yeah, there you go. Magikarp hit the Philly and money line, Philly money line, and Philly +5.5. It's the dumbest line of all time. The dumbest line of all time. Free money here. We'll find another dumb one tonight. Sixers now 29 and 21. Warriors, slowly falling. I didn't watch a lick of this game. Adam Silver's a terrorist. Started this game at 11 p.m. Eastern on a weeknight. No, thank you, Adam. Suns win 130 to 125, but our guy Coach Stark Holmes texted me this morning, and he let me know that Colin Mother in Gillespie, 10 for 17 from the field, knocked down 8 triples, 30 points and 10 dimes. The Colin Renaissance. Mark W., he had 24 and 11. I can't believe I missed Mark Dub night, all right? In 26 minutes, 24 and 11. Grayson Allen had 24. Suns just keep stacking W's. It makes zero sense to me. They win 130 to 125. They're now 31 and 20. The Blazers here. Jeremy Grant had to play 30 plus minutes. Drew Holiday. Drew Holiday, almost 30 minutes. Keep an eye on that. Keep an eye on that. I want Denny to come back and play basketball. I miss that fantasy goodness. Shaden Sharp, 18 and 31 minutes. Whatever. Suns win. And then last but not least, OKC, 128-92. Orlando is not a serious team. What I loved about this is OKC said everybody was questionable, man. Everybody was questionable. SGA, Chet Holmgren, Jalen Williams. I was questionable. Everybody was questionable. They all played. Even though they play the Spurs tonight, they all played. And I just think that's hilarious. They're like, you know what? Everybody's good to go. Everybody's good to go. And the best part is, even though Orlando, fighting for their 500 life, SGA gets 29 and 5 in 28 minutes. Chet only plays 27 minutes, has a double-double. Hartenstein in 23 minutes had a triple-double. I'm seeing this for the first time, 12, 10, and 10. Orlando, whatever, dude. Whatever. Paolo, 17 and 4. Suggs had 20. Whatever. They suck. I'm so out on them. Let's quickly look at the standings, just because I kind of think the East, whatever. The top four, we already know. Pistons, Knicks, Celtics, Raps, and Cavs are all right there. Sixers now just a half game back from them. Top six is pretty solidified. I don't know what order. I think the Cavs end up at the 2 seed when all is said and done. It probably goes Pistons, Knicks, Cavs, Celtics, and then Celtics and Raptors stay close with the Sixers too. And then you've got the Heat now have a half-game lead over the Magic, who have a game-and-a-half lead over the Hawks, who have a half-game lead over the Bulls, and then the Hornets are 1 game back. And Chicago has just let us know they're not interested in winning games anymore by collecting 35 point guards. So that means we are going to see the Charlotte Hornets in the play-in. I am rock hard for it. Let's go. Let's go. Let's get the Hornets in the play, and I'm excited for this. I actually think it's not crazy. Can the Hornets catch the Magic? Can the Hornets catch? Can you imagine? Dude, Jamal Mosley would have to get fired. Would just have to get fired. I mean, let's look at Charlotte's next 10 games, all right? Can you believe we're doing this? We've been talking about the Hornets more than the Celtics lately. Let's look at their next 10 games, because I'm ready, man. I'm ready for the Charlotte. Okay, maybe not. At Houston, that's some nightmare fuel. Although Houston will be on the back end of a back-to-back and maybe a few guys short because of a trade. At Atlanta, that's some play-in action. Then home at Detroit. Okay, so let's say that's one. And then at Atlanta. Wow, okay. So they play Houston twice, Atlanta twice, Detroit, and then it's Cleveland. So those next 6 suck. But then Washington, Chicago, Indiana, Portland. Okay, Dallas. All right. Let's go. How far can you see the Bulls going down? I think the Hornets will for sure catch them. But that's it. Because Charlotte will catch them, but Milwaukee's done winning basketball games. Brooklyn has never started. You're not going to catch these 13-win teams. So you'll flip with the Hornets, and then, the Clippers will pass you. The Blazers might pass you, and that's it. You're not catching anybody else. And then you got to watch out for the Golden State Warriors too. Yeah, you're right. They're scared of nobody. So they could, and Houston loves to lose a close game. That's their thing. So that's in play too. Let's jump over to tonight's stuff. Let's find some winners, okay? Let's find some winners for tonight's action. I feel a little locked in, and that probably, as we've seen the last couple of nights, means I'm going to have some excellent calls and lose money, because I think I was the first person on Isaiah Collier yesterday, all right? We talked about it for, 10 minutes yesterday during the show and in the blog. We were like, well, Isaiah Collier, it feels like Isaiah Collier. 63 fantasy points, okay? Here we go. Nuggets and Knicks. Knicks are favored by 6.5. Now, here's the thing. Jokic can miss, I think, one more game and still qualify for all of the awards, right? Denver here has San Antonio breathing down their neck, right? Actually, San Antonio might have just passed them by not playing last night, right? Let me go back to the standings quickly. So Denver, currently in the 3 seed, has a half-game lead over the Rockets. They lost last night, 5-5 in their last 10. They are in a brutal part of their schedule. So if you think they're we don't want to put extra miles on Nikola Jokic, It's 2 games. All right, it's 2 games for Jokic. If you don't think they want to put extra miles on Jokic, then hey, maybe we shut him down tonight. And then this Knicks line makes sense. However, I think the Knicks are playing really well. I think they're rested after the Washington game while Denver got beat up a little bit against Detroit. If you think Jokic is playing, the one thing I will say, Christian Brown for sure not playing. He returned last night, played 25 minutes. I imagine he's not playing. This line, like I think the Knicks should probably be favored. If we get a clean injury report when Denver reports, which is probably, what is that going to be, around like 1 p.m., 2 p.m. Eastern, maybe 3? Should I just keep saying numbers? 4 or 5? That line goes to Knicks by 2.5, I think, if Jokic is pulled in. Maybe 3.5. Maybe 3.5, 2.5, 3.5. So that feels like free money. Mitchell Robinson is back. Slight downgrade to the Karl Anthony Towns stuff. That's a slight downgrade in my opinion because Mitch Rob takes some minutes away. It also just like it's good defense for the Knicks. But as I mentioned, right, Brunson played 31 minutes. Cat only played 26. Josh Hart is questionable. We'll have to wait and see. I think I would lean that he goes. But anyways, that's fun. Fun game. I'll miss it though because I'm going to see James Acaster tonight, and I'm very excited about it. I don't know. I can't remember if it was a birthday or a Christmas present, but I'm excited to go see James Acaster. Okay, Timberwolves and Raptors. Minnie's favored by 2.5. They have Anthony Edwards and Julius Randle both listed as questionable. They had that before the Memphis game the other night, too. Everybody played, and then they got smoked by Memphis, which was weird. Well, they made it close, but they lost to a Memphis team who had nobody. Minnesota being favored is telling me that those guys are good to go. My only concern here is if this Giannis trade does happen, my guess is that means no Randall and no McDaniels tonight, right? Anthony Edwards, I'm just going to play as in. I think Ant-Man's good to go. I'm going to be pretty light on Randall because I'm nervous about that trade. I don't think a Naz Reid or a Rudy would be in that trade. I don't think. And also, I'm scared to say this, but is it Rudy night against the Toronto Raptors? You know, no Jakob Poeltl, who now Memphis is talking about taking on that salary maybe. No Jakob Poeltl, so maybe it's Rudy night. Maybe it's Naz Reid night. Can the T-Wolves get Giannis without McDaniels? I don't think so. Because I don't think Milwaukee is like, ooh, Rob Dillingham? You know what I mean? They have to get, if it's going to be a player-focused trade, it's got to be young guys that they're excited about. And you look at that Minnesota roster, McDaniel's probably the most intriguing piece out of everybody, right? We've seen his offensive game step up when Ant's not playing. His defense is already like all world, right? So I think McDaniels has to be in there and Randall too for financials, unless I'm missing something. But I think Ant's good to go. Otherwise, the Raptors I think would be favored, right? Toronto's at home. I feel like Toronto should be. I don't know. That line feels a little funky to me too. On the Toronto side, RJ Barrett's minutes. His last 2 games he played 30 minutes and 27 minutes, so he's kind of back to normal. He's the most intriguing piece for me on Toronto tonight, just because everybody else is getting drafted. But that's it. You know, lowish. 226 is not too bad. Not too bad. I like this take from Regulator here in the chat. McDaniels will be an all-star on his next team. I like that. Celtics back-to-back tonight against the Houston Rockets. KD missed their last game against the Pacers. He's back. Again, I'm a little bit like Windhorse fingers up. If the Rockets do make a deal for Kobe White and decide to punt on Tari Eason, I think it's more likely Dorian Finney-Smith. But if it is Tari Eason, Jabari Smith Jr. is going to play like 55 minutes. KD is going to play like 40, and Amen Thompson's going to play 40. So keep an eye on that. I honestly, listen, this is not a great matchup for Boston, but no Steven Adams, I think, kind of changes the alchemy a little bit. But the back-to-back is kind of funky. Look at this low total, kind of gross. I expect JB to still do well, just because he seems to win a matchup. But Şengün, as we said last show, pants down. It's goon time. Şengün should be going nuts. Power Duster back to Toronto says the Raps don't do well against size and physicality and will get punched in the mouth. Yeah, that's what I mean. I think it's Rudy night. I think it's Rudy Gobert night. And then anyways, let's do Pelly's in the Bucks. Pelicans favored by 4.5. Love to see that. Bobby Portis is questionable. And again, I think this is trade related. So whatever. I think this slate's gross enough because we'll talk about it here in a second that I'm still just going to draft Bobby Portis and be fine with it. Miles Turner's minutes only being 23 last night is pretty interesting to me. Like, is Milwaukee just like, we want to lose these games? So Ryan Rollins, safest bet. We'll draft a ton of Ryan Rollins, and then Kyle Kuzma can impact winning. So if you're still tanking, Kyle Kuzma can play 30 minutes a game. Those are my two faves. I'll mess around with Bobby Portis just because of the swaps, and then we're going to be off of Miles Turner. No thanks. On the Pelicans pretty healthy here. Derek Queen, this is the weirdest thing I've noticed. I think it's happened like 3 games in a row. Here's your bet of the night. Whatever Derek Queen's first quarter points or points, rebounds, assists are, bet just first quarter, bet the over. Derek Queen cooks in his 3 games in a row. He cooks in his first rotation, and then he does dog shit the rest of the game. He did it against the 76ers. I forget who they played in their last game. Just goes nuts first couple of minutes, and then doesn't do anything. Zion is really cheap tonight. I'll be doing some Zion. I'll be doing that. Power Duster said, do you think the league ever gets rid of back-to-backs? No. Oh, they would only do that if they got rid of, if they like knocked off 10 games a year. But I don't think they're going to do that because of the money. But anyways, Thunder and Spurs, this is the game of the night. 9:30, ESPN, OKC versus San Antonio Spurs. This to me is like the easiest game to draft on Underdog because you draft Wemby, you draft SGA, and I think I might put Wemby ahead of SGA. I'm not sure yet. Draft Wemby, draft SGA. I'm going to be light on Chet Holmgren. Chet Holmgren has shown that he doesn't really show up these games against Wemby, so I'm going to go ahead and just be like pretty light on him. That Chet Randall range, I'm just pulling up BI, I'm pulling up Zubats, I'm pulling up Jared Allen. That's what I'm doing so far anyways this morning. And then Stefan Castle is questionable tonight. If he were to miss, Fox is like really cheap. He'd have to play a little bit more. And then Dylan Harper. I'm going to throw this out there. Dylan Harper played 27 minutes in that last game. He's been playing really well. I kind of like Harper if Castle misses. But the reason we can't get to him is because here's the game of the night. Oh, let's do Cavs clips. We kind of already talked about it. Cavs favored by 1.5. No Harden. And obviously no Garland. Whatever. Zubats. Kawhi. Kawhi still seems to be on a 30-minute cap, so I'll still be taking him this morning, but seems to be capped at 30 minutes. And then, Spida, Jared Allen, Jalen Tyson late. This is the game of the night. Grizzlies and Kings, all right? Okay, this is like the highest total at 232.5. I'm going to go over and just show you who the Grizzlies have. And that's if they don't make another move. But I just want to show you the highest total, close spread, which says so much about the Kings, okay? Says so much about the Kings. Look at this shit. The Grizzlies, they have nobody getting drafted this morning. Ty Jerome, who's been awesome, right? Scored 20 points in 19 minutes and then 19 points in 20 minutes. I don't think he's going to play more than 24 minutes. There's no reason to do that. Honestly, he could still get moved at the deadline. You have Santi Aldama, who's missed 5 straight games, all right? He's questionable. Then Cedric Coward, who seems to be limited around, he's gotten over 30 minutes like one time, right? Against Houston on the 26th, played 30 minutes. Everything else is like 26 to 27. Then it's Jalen Wells, who's not good at offense, so he's off the list. Is G.G. Jackson going to play 40 minutes tonight? Is it G.G. Jackson night? So I'm drafting the F out of G.G. Jackson, Santi Aldama. Cam Spencer might play a ton. I mean, they still have guards, right? KCP, Cam Spencer, Jalen Wells, Cedric Coward, Ty Jerome. But they have no bigs. They have no bigs. Look at that. Jaren Jackson Jr. traded. Zach Edey out. Scottie Pippen Jr. doubtful. That's kind of fun. Vince Williams Jr. out. Traded. John Conchar traded. Jock Landell traded. Brandon Clark hurt. John Moran hurt. Right? Is G.G. Jackson going to play like 55 minutes? Also, how are the Kings only favored by 1.5 at home? That's how bad Sacramento is. Russ Westbrook, who missed the last couple of games, he was back at practice. He's going to play. Sabonis is in some trade rumors, so he might not go, but he was also back to practice. I don't know. Just chaos, baby. It's chaos. Woo, we did it. We got through the slate, 55 minutes, man. We've been cranking out the content. G.G. Jackson will be Isaiah Collier. That's where I'm at, man. I'm drafting a ton of Santi Aldama right now because if he plays, I love him, but also some GG. From one of my Cleveland friends, Baker Mayfield equals Darius Garland. Ooh, that's good. So we're about to get a Darius Garland renaissance. Is that what you're saying? Wow. I don't know. All right, let's call it there. Let's call it there because I'm tired. If the Giannis stuff happens today, we'll be back. We'll be back. If we get any sort of trades, as long as it happens before I go see some comedy, we'll be back. But I appreciate everybody hanging out. This is fun. This is the best time of year. If you're new here, do me a favor. Like the video, subscribe. If you're more of a podcast fan, go find us on Spotify or Apple. Just search NBA Bit. I'm going to share a bagel with Locks in the chat one more time. We get a Splash Sports contest tonight if you want to mess around with that. Otherwise, we'll see you when Giannis heads to Minnesota. When he heads to Minnesota. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time.